Hey guys! Thanks a ton for all the love on the last video. You really seem to enjoy the Magnates media editing style, so I'm back with another one for you. This video is actually part 2, but don't worry, even if you missed the first one, you can still follow along and create these scenes easily. Also, we're working on an Iman Gadzhi style edit, and that's dropping in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around. Let's level up together!
Now, let's add our next image, which is a man sitting on a chair, and drag and drop into the After Effect. Let's place it below the camera, cut it around the last keyframe of the last layer by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D, and convert it to 3D by pressing Ctrl-Home. To align it in the center, and reduce its size to 27. Reduce it a little bit more to around maybe 15. And I want the layer to start at 10-15 frames. Bring it all the way down and add a keyframe for position here. And coming to around 11 seconds, drag it up. Selecting the keyframes, press F9 to ease them and duplicate the man layer by pressing Ctrl-D 2 times, and moving 10 frames ahead by pressing Ctrl-Shift-Right arrow key. Select both these layer and move them here by pressing U, open their position, and selecting the position of second layer of man sitting, and move it towards left side. Selecting the other layer, move it towards the right side, now selecting both of them. I want to place them behind the first man, so I am moving them backwards by using Z-axis. Select the keyframes of the first layer, and go to Graph Editor and add curve on both keyframes. Do the same with other two layers. So I think this is too fast. So I am selecting all the second keyframes of the man layers and moving them towards the right side. So they will come slow. I am going to place both the second and third layer of the man layer where the second keyframe end of the first man layer. Add text cancer patients. To add deep glow to it and convert it to 3D. I am going to its position by pressing P and the position of the man in the middle by pressing P. The man position is negative 2146.2 and text Z-axis position is 0. I am just simply copying the man layer's Z-axis position and pasting it on the text Z-axis position. I think we have to decrease its size a bit. And to complete this scene, let's add a smoky background to it. Let's drag and drop white smoke in the project panel, and now place it under the medicine bottle. Change its mode to screen. It will start around 8 seconds. By pressing T, open its opacity. Add the first keyframe at 8 seconds, and between 8 and 9 seconds. I am going to add the second keyframe and changing the value to 50. Add a mask to smoke layer. I am adjusting the mask by double-clicking on it. And by going to mask properties, I am going to increase mask feather. The video ends on 13 seconds. Right-click on the white smoke layer, going to time, then time stretch. Increase its length from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. And now we also have to animate the cancer patient text layer. Cut the cancer patient layer where the second and third man layer start by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D and deleting the other layer. Pressing T to bring up opacity, adding a keyframe. And 1 second towards the right side. Add a keyframe coming back to the previous keyframe. I am decreasing its opacity to 0. Now let's duplicate both the background layer by pressing Ctrl+D and bringing them all the way up. I am placing them just above the cancer patient text layer. Cut both the background layers around 15 seconds by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D. Now select the Null 3 and duplicate it. Open the Null 4 animated properties by pressing U and delete its keyframes. And parent the Null 3 to Null 4. Select both the background layer and pre-comp them and renaming them as BG2 going into the composition. I am going to place the timeline where our layers start and cut it in the main comp. By pressing Ctrl-Shift-D and delete the selected part. Change the background 2 to 3D layer, place it in the center. Now I am going to open 2 View and bringing the background layer all the way in the front so it will disappear. At around 15 seconds. I am going to add a keyframe for Null 4 and at around 16 seconds. Add second keyframe and zoom out the null position and take it where our BG2 is open background scale and increase its scale to 112. So this is what we have made. I think we should bring the first keyframe towards the right side. Select both of the keyframe and press F9 to ease them and going into the keyframe velocity. Change the keyframe influence to 75 for both ends. Let's bring the background layer where the first keyframe of Null 4 is coming back to one view. Add a new text layer and type problem on it. By selecting it, I am going to increase its scale. Convert it to 3D and press Ctrl Home to center. Align it. I think we have to increase its size more. Here we have to center it. For that, press Ctrl Alt plus Home to center the anchor point. Now once again, press Ctrl Home to bring it in the center. We have to change its color, so let's select the color. I will select a lighter gray almost here and place it above the background layer and cut it just where the background layer start by pressing Ctrl-Shift+D. Now let's add another video background, which is Vecteezy glitter particles. I have put the link for that in the description. You can download it from the link. Now place it above the problem text layer and start it where the BG2 layer start. And cut it when all the particles are in the center by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D and changing its mode to screen. Converting it to 3D by pressing Ctrl Home. I am going to center it on the layer. I am going to increase the speed of this glittery layer between 16 and 17 seconds. Cut it by pressing Ctrl-Shift+D and by right-clicking on Time, then Time Stretch, and change the value to 10 frames and bring the other layer just above it. Now, let's add the fingers. I am going with composition with editable layer style and bringing it to the main composition. Cut it right at the start of the composition by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D and deleting the other part. Convert it to 3D by selecting the layer, press Ctrl Home to center. Align it, change its position. Reduce its scale to around 80%. Now let's bring the pink pill and bring it all the way up and place it under the camera layer. Cut this at the same point by pressing Ctrl-Shift+D, selecting the pill layer. I am pressing Ctrl-Home to align it in the center. I am bringing it forward and add deep glow to it. Let's place the pill between the fingers, open the rotation of the pill layer, and rotate Z-axis around -30. And reduce its size to around 12. I am rotating it a bit on Y-axis around here. By selecting pill layer, create a mask. Now going to the mask. Properties, invert the mask. Add drop shadow to it. Change the opacity to 100. Change the direction and increase the softness to 51. Now let's make the animation of fingers. Taking the anchor point tool, I am moving the anchor point off the fingers down. At 16 seconds, I am going to add a keyframe at Z rotation. Moving forwards to 17 seconds, I am going to add another keyframe and rotate it to 10 degrees. Bring the fingers down to fill the empty space. Now let's see what we have made. Duplicate the pill layer and delete the mask of this duplicated layer. Now duplicate it 3 more times by pressing Ctrl+D. Selecting these 4 layers, I am going to open their rotation property and change their Z rotation and Y rotation to 0. Change their positions. Selecting all the 4 pill layers and change their scale to 10, now let's change their colors. You can see the hex code on the right side of the color panel. Move the fingers more towards the right side. Decrease the scale of orange pill. Selecting all these 4 pill layers except pink. Unparent them from fingers comp. Let's create a new composition. Type expiring patent and reduce its size to around maybe 50. Nah, I think 40 will be best, and changing its color to pink. Right-click on the text layer, go to Layer Style and select Bevel and Emboss. In the Layer Properties, going to Bevel and Emboss. Change its shadow color to white and its altitude to around 44, direction to down, and its angle to 179. I am going to copy the text layer by pressing Ctrl+D, selecting duplicated layer, place it on the other end, and change the text to more competition by selecting the pen tool. Make a curve path and change its stroke color to the same pink. Now go to Content to then shape 1 stroke 1. Coming to Taper, change its start and end length to 40. Copy the layer style of expiring patent text layer by pressing Ctrl+C and paste on Shape Layer. By pressing Ctrl V, add 4 color gradient to it. Change the first 3 color with pink, and changing the last color with white color. And taking the anchor point place, the white color in the middle, and same with others, change the color position. Add trim path to the shape layer. Make the start 100, add a keyframe, and on 1 second, add another keyframe and change the start value to 0. Changing its anchor point position by pressing Ctrl and double-clicking on the anchor point tool. Change its rotation to 9 degrees. Make another curved line and repeat the same steps. Go to Content to then shape 1 stroke 1. Coming to taper, change its start and end length to 40. Copy the layer style of expiring patent. Text layer by pressing Ctrl C and paste on shape layer. Layer 2 by pressing Ctrl V. Copy. Shape layer 1 4 color gradient and paste it on shape layer. Scale it down to 85%. Copy the trim path of shape layer 1 and paste it on the shape layer 2. Let's animate the text layers, going to Effects and Presets. Then text and animate in and use fade up characters and the same effect to the more competition. End the text animation where the shape layer animation ends. Coming back to 0 second, press Ctrl Shift and right arrow key to move 10 frames ahead, and place shape layer at 10 frames and place more competition layer 10 frames ahead of shape layer 1 and same with shape layer 2. Let's move both layers on the right side more towards the end. Coming back to our main comp, drag and drop the comp 1 into the timeline and place the comp at 16 seconds. I think there is too much distance between them, so let's move back the layers. Now it's perfect. Convert the comp to 3D and center. Align them by pressing Ctrl Home and bring it forward using Z position. And decrease its size. Let's animate the pill layers. First, I am changing their names. I am placing these pills at 16 seconds, opening the orange pill scale, add a keyframe at the start of the layer, and going 10 frames ahead. Add another keyframe. Back to the first keyframe, change the scale to 0. Now selecting the scale, press Ctrl C to copy its scale and paste it on the other 3 layers by pressing Ctrl V. The pills will appear one after the other, so let's place them at 10 frames distance. Move the pill layers to around 18 seconds. Let's create another comp. Change width to 5,000 and height to 1,000. Turn on the proportional grid. Taking pen tool. Make a path. Change its color to light red and add deep glow to it. Drag and drop it into the main comp and place it where the animation ends. Convert it to 3D press control home to center. Align it. Drag it up and reduce its scale. Press T to open opacity. Add a keyframe at the start of the layer. Go 10 frames ahead by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus right arrow key. Add another keyframe, coming back to the first keyframe. Change the opacity to 0. Duplicate the null 4 and delete its keyframes. Moving back 10 frames from where our comp 2 starts by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus left arrow key, add a keyframe. Add another keyframe where our red line becomes visible. Make sure to parent null 4 to null 5 and zoom in. Selecting both the keyframes, press F9 to ease them, and by right-clicking, go to keyframe velocity and change the influence to 75. Now search for wave warp and drag and drop it onto the comp. Change wave height to 2 and wave width to 51. Now let's do the final step. Add an adjustment layer and apply Gaussian blur to it at 0 seconds. Add a keyframe and at 1 second, add another keyframe. Back to first keyframe, increase the blurriness to 24. Also add blur to the medicine bottles.
I'm adding the blur to around 30 in both the bottles.
So now let's see our final result. The Sackler's first successful pain drug was called MS-Contin. This was morphine with a seal around the pill, which caused the chemical to enter bloodstream slowly and continuously over a period of time. That's where Contin part of the name comes from. This drug was mostly used in cancer patients, but the Sacklers had a huge problem. Their patent was expiring soon, which meant other companies could produce generic versions of their drug, which would drastically reduce their profit.